Top five, top five, top five.
Sudden topical back with another video. I'm Strange Wang. He is Nate. Today we are doing top 5 car movies in honor of Fast X. X going to give it to you. So he'll tell you how our top 5s work. And then we get into them.
He's going to start with his 5 and 4. I'll give my 5 and 4, 3-2, 3-2. Then we trade off number ones. We also have something called the Zemeckis rule, which just means that we both have the same movie on our list, but one person has it 2 spots or higher. We just save the conversation for the higher one.
To me, I know, for me, I went with the ones I will watch the most, or ones I had unique stories about. This could have easily been a top 10. Minus my 1 and 2, everything else could just be replaced.
Yeah.
It's just I haven't talked about these movies in a while.
Sure.
Or I watched these more recently than others.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. There's no real criteria. It's just these on that specific day I made the list, I like them more than other ones.
Yeah.
So, number 5 for Strange Wang is going to be a nostalgia guilty pleasure. I don't like it anymore. It's very odd.
Huh.
But I never talk about this movie. It will probably never make another list unless we do a Will Ferrell list, and it's Talladega Nights.
Oh, nice.
And because I have this connection to when it came out, this nostalgia of watching it with my cousins.
So quotable.
Yeah. Like, it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
I would never go back and rewatch the whole entire thing again. But there is times when I'm flipping through the TV, I would be like, oh, the dinner scene's coming up.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch until little boy is all jacked up on Mountain Dew. I'm going to laugh and I'm going to change it. Oh, they're about to say Shake and Bake soon. I'll watch that Shake and Bake and then I'll turn the channel.
Yeah.
Oh, hell, Ricky. I was high when I said that.
I was about to say, if you're at Shake and Bake, you're close to the end of the race when his dad comes in. So.
Yeah. Well, they've been Shake and Baking all through the movie.
Well, that's true, yeah.
I don't think the Tom Cruise thing's funny.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that movie that I don't find funny. But I do have that love for it when I was in elementary school and it did come out. And when you're quoting it with your cousins, it's even funnier.
Right.
We were shaking and baking all summer, all year. I liked that movie so much that a different cousin who was older, she worked at a t-shirt company, took one of the defective Ricky Bobby shirts and gave it to me for my birthday. It had the bread company. What's the bread company? Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
The Wonder Bread logo.
Yeah.
And then the font of the Wonder Bread. If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
It was a white shirt. And that was probably outside of like a Spider-Man or a Batman movie, my first movie shirt. And as you can see, I like movie shirts. I like movies. I like to wear shirts that has movies on them. So, because of that, I felt like it was just a really cool story. I put it on a list because I've never talked about Talladega Nights in a positive setting on this channel.
Nice. So, yeah.
Will Ferrell, he gets points for that. Number 4 is going to be Cars. It's a car list. These are cars. They talk. It has a good heart, a good story in it. And you have 2 cars who flash their headlights at Lightning McQueen.
That's funny to me.
And also, this movie came out
Tramp
again. That's also Helen Hunt. What a great voice actor.
Yeah.
You see them in person, you're like, that wouldn't have worked. But you hear their voices in the movie, and the chemistry just comes off, and it's so well received.
Yeah.
But another comedian that I watched when I was in elementary school,
Larry the Cable Guy.
he wasn't bad then.
Get her done.
He wasn't bad. He's very heartwarming in this movie. You know, you can't help but to love Mater. So, because of that and everything wrapped up in it, and this movie about cars. Talking cars. So, I felt like it was a no-brainer for the list.
Yeah. So, my parameters, I had to set some for me, or else my brain just wouldn't work right. So, when I said, okay, car movies, what I ended up landing on was I wanted it to be movies that are about either people who love cars like the car itself is the focus. So like that eliminated Cars for me because Cars is a character driven story. It's not really about like the love of the machine, or anything like that, right? Yeah. So all of that kind of eliminated anything animated. And then it obviously, as always, fell back to my personal favorites. For when I initially was going to make my list, I was like, I really don't want to put any Fast and Furious movies on here. But I decided to go with one because I love this movie. And I had a friend in high school who also really loved this movie, and we quoted it all the time. To me, it is like the second or third best Fast and Furious movie. I absolutely adore it. And I also just really love JDM cars. So number 5 for me is going to be Tokyo Drift. Because it's about people who love cars and a very specific style of racing. I understand why people think it's a bad movie. I think you're wrong. I think you're looking at the wrong parts of this movie. But it is my personal favorite Fast and Furious movie. Can't get enough of it. Love Japan. Love JDM. So
I think that's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
That's bull.
I hate that movie.
That's bull.
What's the actor's name? The main actor?
Lucas Black.
The worst actor I've ever seen in my life.
He's not a good actor, yeah.
I would drop kick him on the daily.
Yeah.
If it was allowed.
He also, I'm not defending his acting skills. It also, especially like the first 30 minutes, not a good script. But
oh, he catches a baseball and then the baseball gets thrown through his car. Oh, there's a girl. What's the evil car movie? Christine,
yeah.
What about The Hate of the Machine? Is Christine on your list?
No, it's not.
Friday.
Yeah, number 4 for me. I don't know how you feel about this movie. I feel like it could be like a movie that you're like, I know it's not great, but I really, really like that movie. Or you could be like, that movie is terrible. But it's Gone in 60 Seconds.
Which one?
I've never seen the original.
I've never seen either of them, so.
Oh, really? I feel like you might actually like the Nick Cage, Angelina Jolie one.
Mike, maybe.
I'm not gonna sit here and
I'm
not gonna sit here and tell you it's a great movie, but it is for sure a good time. But it's also a really interesting premise because do you know the premise?
They steal stuff, probably.
Well, yeah. So it's like, long story short, this isn't a spoiler or anything, but his brother, Nick Cage, used to steal cars. He stopped stealing cars, but his little brother got in the game, and he made a bad deal with some, mafia, shady businessman type that he could get them. They gave him this list of specific cars, specific make, model, specific year, specific engine, whatever, right? And he told them that he could get them all of those cars by a certain time frame. And then it's like, I can't remember. At some point in time, he realizes that he can't do it. And so he comes to his older brother and is like, and now he's got to get back in the game. So it's like, it highlights a bunch of very specific, very nice cars. Because they have to go steal all these really specific cars. And you get a little bit of not comparing it in terms of quality, but you kind of get a little bit of the Oceans vibe because they have to assemble the team and everyone has their own personality and all this kind of stuff. And I really enjoy that movie. It is like a dirty version of Oceans. Oceans is very classy. This is like the dirty version of, not like adult dirty, but grimy version of Oceans. I really fuck with Gone in 60 Seconds.
So I kind of get Ronin vibes from it too. You ever seen that heist?
No, I saw it pop up on a couple people's lists of car movies.
There's a car chase. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I never seen it.
If you make a top 10 car movie list and you have Ronin on there, go fuck your mother.
Yeah.
That's not a fucking. There's a race.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a getaway.
Yeah.
Chase, and it's very good.
Yeah.
That's the French Connection's on here because it has a really good
I will say
chase.
Another movie that popped up on a lot of people's list was Drive. I love Drive. I don't know if it's going to be on your list or not, but it wasn't really about the car, it's about him and the girl and the stuff they get into.
He doesn't drive the car enough for me.
Yeah, right.
Baby Driver would pass if it's on any of our lists.
Well, that's good
because he's in the car more.
It is about his driving skills. And he drives multiple different
Well,
cars.
there's a huge character
drives
arc
them well.
with
yeah,
him.
there is. There's more
But
going on than that. But
he's in the car more than the driver.
Yeah, but it's still a very important part of the movie. But anyways, yes. That's Gone in 60 Seconds. Number 4.
Number 3 for me is going to be Grease Lightning. It is a very innovative, and I can't say this word at all. Innovative film because you have an all-black cast saying, hey, racism is bad. And this one white dude is teaming up with Richard Pryor, who, based on a true story, first black race car driver in the history of racing.
So it's white men can't jump for cars?
Reverse white men can't jump for cars, sure. So Richard Pryor, he's racing.
Is it funny or is it serious?
I mean, there's jokes in it, but it's more
for
serious.
Richard Pryor, it's more serious.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And 77 is huge for Richard Pryor playing a serious role.
77 is
like
the year 1977.
Yeah,
yeah, that was a big year for movies, honestly.
Yeah. So this one, a white guy, his car gets blown up. He can't drive no more. He loves racing. He strikes up this competitive friendship with Richard Pryor, and then he sees how all the other white people treat him. So there's one scene. He wins a thing for dinner. The second place or whatever place he came in, he got a free $50 dinner at this one restaurant. He goes in to get his $50 dinner, him and his buddy. You can't eat here. The white guy's like, what do you mean we can't eat here?
Huh.
Richard Pryor's black, that's why you can't fucking eat there, you idiot.
Yeah.
But he experienced racism. And it's the first movie that I've seen that brings whites and blacks together. Just name another 70s movie that brings whites and blacks together. The only other 70s movie, I think, that deals with race, the other two, is Watermelon Man.
I knew you were
And that's like, that's a good fucking movie. Have you seen it?
No.
It's a good fucking movie. You need to watch it. But that's more of a parody and showing, hey, you're a moron. Well, I guess there's 3 because Blazing Saddles was. But that's also making fun of white people being stupid for being racist.
Right.
But the only other serious one I can think of is In the Heat of the Night. And they're not even really friends.
Yeah.
It's more of respect.
Yeah.
Well, then there's Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. But that's not really like this. I guess it is. There's more than I thought in the 70s.
70s was very progressive.
Yeah, very, very groundbreaking.
For compared to the 60s,
yeah.
The 70s is very
Yeah,
progressive.
so, well, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? I think that's a 60s film.
Is it?
I think.
Very good.
Late 60s. Yeah. I don't know. But Grease Lightning is a very fun movie. It deals with racing. It deals with racist as well. And Richard Pryor in a serious role is something you don't see a whole lot. And Richard Pryor, to me, is an underrated actor. He just needs to be around talented people like the people in this film to get him over that hump to come in first place, like this movie did. First place movie. Really good. Need to watch it.
Nice.
And these two are the ones where it's like definitive. These are always going to be my 1 and 2 unless
I bet we have the same
another movie that comes out is going to be better. Yeah. Number 2 for me is going to be Ford v Ferrari.
It's my number 3.
This movie is about cars. It's about racing. It's also about the human self and examining who you are as a human and checking your ego, checking yourself, fighting for what you believe in. For both characters in this film. And also, it plays on being a good father.
True.
There's a lot of different elements around racing and that passion and how they mix both into this pot is a beautiful experience that gives you heart. It makes you think a little bit outside when you go outside the theater and you're like, man, this movie was good because this reason. Well, this character, I kind of feel like I have an ego or something like that, or this is going on in his life, or it gets deeper than just the racing. And the racing is extraordinary. It's thrilling. It put you on the edge of your seat. You know, so
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say 10 out of 10, but phenomenal movie.
Yeah. I feel like this movie is. I just feel like it didn't get talked about enough.
I 100% agree.
No.
Like, I feel
It's
like
not.
it really flew under the radar. I don't really understand why. I think.
Car people seen this movie, and that's the only people that saw this movie.
And us.
Well, movie buffs and
Yeah.
car people.
I thought this movie was incredible. It was a great movie. If you like a good, like, biopic, true story, it's kind of the Moneyball for, like,
Yes.
for
Great analogy.
for long form car racing, right? Because it's about, in this case, two dudes who innovated, who changed the direction of an entire company essentially for the purpose of winning, which is exactly what Moneyball is. Except it's one dude. Well, it's two. Jonah Hill's in there. Just
Yeah.
it's less equal, I guess. But yeah, great performances by Bale and Matt Damon. It's also just a movie about, like, it's not just a car movie. It's a movie about two dudes who just really love cars. And I've always wanted to be a car guy. It's just a really expensive hobby. And I've also
Dirty hobby.
I don't mind that part. And I've never had, like, the space to be a car guy. Like, I've never had a garage that I could, like, do stuff with a car in. So I just never got there. But I love listening to guys, or I love watching movies at least, about people who love cars and talking about, you know, the feeling they get behind the wheel and, like, feeling the power of the machine and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of that in this movie. And I really dig it. It's a really good movie.
I know something about my list.
A little long,
That-
but it's very good.
All of my lists, except for one,
Yeah.
is racing movies.
Mhm.
And that's a completely different list.
Yeah.
But I guess my number 6, I guess I could have subbed in
What would your number 6 have been?
Fury Road.
Yeah.
It's a car chase movie.
It is a car chase movie, yeah.
And you can see cars that are different than regular cars.
That's true, yeah.
Here at Sonotopical, we're unfortunately poor, and this money you see on screen, that's CGI. That's not real money, because again, we're poor. So if you want to click in the ad eye in the corner, that video is monetized, and we can make money off it, so please go watch it.
And if you click an ad, we make more money. And if you really want to help, there's the thanks button right there below this video. That was my number 3, so that worked out well. My number 2 is Baby Driver. I think I just love this one so much because you just get to see how much he just enjoys being behind the wheel of a car, and is very good at it. They don't really highlight the specific cars he drives as much, which, like, I wish it had. It would have made a little more sense for the way that I did my list, but it's still undeniably to me a car movie. Yeah, he's got his relationship going on. Yeah, it's like a bank robbery movie. But he is at the center of it, and specifically his ability to drive incredibly well is at the center of it. And it is, like, maybe some of the most fun driving scenes that you will see in a movie. The stunts in it are absolutely incredible. Like, the characters are super interesting, and I love that they put the focus. They did the same thing they did in Drive, in that they put the focus on a character who is basically a professional getaway driver, whether they wanted to be or not. And I really love that angle, because those are pretty much the only 2 movies I could think of where, like, the guy who's just getting them away, not the one actually committing the big crime of robbery, is the focus of the film. And, you know, shout out to all the getaway drivers out there. I mean, you guys are underappreciated. You're probably underpaid. But bank robbers need you. And
You could kind of say Faster, that Dwayne Johnson movie. But he was a getaway driver that went
Yeah.
out for revenge.
yeah. And the only other thing even, like, close to I can think of is, like, the Transporter, but he's not a getaway driver. He's just the guy
Transporter.
that you trust to move things. So, yeah, Baby Driver, number 2. Great movie.
Number 1,
Smokey and the Bandit.
Black Trans Am, baby. Smokey
Yeah.
and the Bandit. This movie is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, within the next month or two, we're going to do, one of us is going to do top 10 favorites and least favorites. Not for him, but for me, this might actually crack my top 10.
Oh, yeah.
because so quotable. Mm-hmm. You have Burt Reynolds being one of the coolest on-screen motherfuckers of all time.
Yeah, that's true.
If we did a list of top 5 coolest motherfuckers of all time, it would be Burt Reynolds, Brad Pitt, and maybe not Fight Club. I don't know. It would be Fight Club or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Harrison Ford movies.
Yeah.
And
Harrison's got to be in there.
And Bogart movies.
Yeah, Bogart's pretty cool.
It would just be like, all right, for my number 2, there's going to be 3 Harrison Ford. You know, it's going to be that list.
Yeah.
But Burt Reynolds, cool motherfucker. Snowman, what a great, lovable sidekick.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the only bad part about him is he owns a dog, and I don't like dogs.
Well, and to be fair, Snowman is kind of one of the really kind of very important.
Yeah.
Like, he's the sidekick because you're focusing on Burt Reynolds, but like, he's the one carrying the goods. I mean,
Well, yeah, like Burt Reynolds is just there to distract people.
yeah.
You have Sally Field, which is so lovable. When you put them together, the chemistry is off the charts.
Yeah.
Phenomenal casting.
Yeah.
You have weird little side characters they meet along the way.
Mm-hmm.
You got Big Enos, Little Enos. You have Buford T. Justice.
Guy's the worst. I mean, I like him, but he's the worst.
Which to me is so... he's so stupid. You can't help but love him.
So dumb.
And he's like... It's such a quotable movie, too.
Yeah.
Like, I love every single thing about that movie. There's not one thing that I dislike about that movie. Except that it had two very bad sequels.
And it has a dog.
Well, the dog doesn't do much.
That's true. It's a pretty lazy dog.
Like, if there has to be a dog around, that's the dog I want in the house with me.
Sure.
Sorry, Fitz.
Yeah. If he loves you, whether you love him or not.
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, Smokey and the Bandit might crack my top 10. I
Yeah.
would have to really...
Yeah. I think it's a good pick.
If we go rewatchable,
Yeah.
top 5 most rewatchable movies, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely on there for sure. Yeah, it made my list. I really had to like think about it for a while because I was like, I was trying to keep my list about like, you know, not just people who work on cars, but like a more all-encompassing thing. But Bandit and his Trans Am, they're just like too iconic.
Yeah.
And he does love that car. And it is literally like him driving the car pretty much the whole movie. And that is like his ability to drive, his ability to get the attention is the point of the whole movie, right?
Yeah.
Sure. So I think it definitely very deservingly fell on the list. And not even just on the list in the number 1 spot. It is the best movie. Out of all the 5 movies on my list, this is easily the best movie. It's definitely the most rewatchable, incredibly fun, great car, great scenes with the car, great scenes in the car, great guy driving the car. This is like sick car movie, great car movie.
And on top of that, they were just like, we're just going to typecast you. We're going to have you be Smokey and the Bandit in a boat in Gator. Mm-hmm. We're going to put you in. We're going to make another one, which isn't going to work. But you know what? You and Dom DeLuise are very funny together, so we're going to put you in your own car movie with Cannonball Run. Oh, that made money? Cannonball Run 2. Like, they just kept pumping out ripoffs with him in it because that formula just worked so well the first time.
And he's in Archer, which is great.
The Bandit?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's Burt Reynolds.
Oh, like, what?
Yeah.
One more thing.
Let us know your top 5 car movies that would make your list. Scroll back up to the like button, share the video, and subscribe.